Kanchelskis! Yes! Andrei Kanchelskis has scored his first goal for Everton. And he scored it against Liverpool at the Kop end. This boy is a bit special.
The promise of Tony Grantona.
But Stewart tucks it in beautifully.
The rebuilding process continues as Joe reflects on Everton's highest league position for years, but just not high enough for Europe. The Red revelation, Andre's 16 goals, was phenomenal for a wide boy. Craig Short's first season was a mixture, but he's a true blue in the making. The skipper's in pristine condition for a member of the 30-something club and proved it week in, week out. Well, not a bad place to start, is it? But as the old adage goes, qualifying for the Charity Shield is the most important thing. Having said that, it is nice to win it.
With arm raised to direct the wall. Whether he wants both hands up to shield his eyes a little bit. Hinchcliffe takes. Goalkeeper. Well, was it the sun or what was it? It was a fumble.
Shot, beating Flowers.
That's a lovely ball down the channel, and Samways gets free. Now, I'm not sure whether that was deliberate, whether he's trying to help into the area, but certainly the flight of the ball is the thing that beats the goalkeeper. The tackle's coming in, and does it take a flick off the defender coming round? Is that the crucial moment? I mean, if Vinny spotted that, then that's a brilliant goal.
So the season began where the previous one left off, with Dave Watson leading the annual pre-season parade.
Great to go back and great to go back and win, of course, and beat the champions. And we felt at that stage we were solid, if unspectacular. It wasn't a great game, but nice to win at Wembley.
Done well here, Amakachi nicks one back in. It's just beyond Kanchelskis. Chance here though, and a goal for Everton. They score through Parkinson.
With temperatures as high as the anticipation, Everton opened up in the league at Chelsea, whose new recruit has been one of the star turns in the Premiership, the former European Footballer of the Year, Ruud Gullit.
Limpar again. Hit the post. Well, they allowed him to go through. Useful, flat, and still. Bergkamp, right starts to go, and Bergkamp finds him. Right, it's two. Well, they got it right together for the first time, and Arsenal can celebrate the victory.
The much-heralded arrival of Andrei Kanchelskis was an anticlimax because of a delay over a new work permit.
I'm delighted to announce that we have agreed terms for the transfer of Andrei Kanchelskis.
We've got him, and that's that.
Хороший клуб,
It's a marvellous club. I've been very, very impressed by the courtesy and friendliness of all the people I've met at the club since I've been here.
very well indeed. And it'll stop him scoring against us, won't it?
Manchester United never wanted Andrei Kanchelskis to leave.
It's a problem which is in the Manchester United camp. It is not Everton's problem.
We were thinking about buying Andrei a caravan, really, because we weren't quite sure where he was going to be.
I hope everybody appreciates that we've certainly not sat on our hands on this. I personally went out to the Ukraine to try and resolve matters with the Nets. That wasn't achieved.
I accept that the deal is on and yet to be ratified, and somebody has got to be told, release that player.
Liked him at Man United, like him more at Everton.
Andrei Kanchelskis is brilliant.
I think he's brilliant. I think he's the finest thing that Joe Royle's done since he's come to the club.
Number 17, Andrei Kanchelskis.
Now Kanchelskis is a real expectancy when he gets the ball, as there is when Anders Limpar gets it. Back to Limpar again. What's he got up his sleeve? Oh, dear me, something spectacular. What a goal, even by the standards of Anders Limpar. You can see his mind ticking over as soon as that move started when he got the ball from Andrei Kanchelskis. And no goalkeeper in the world is going to stop a shot like that from the Swedish star. Slippery surfaces, causing one or two players to slip and slide. It's been a problem for defenders. This is a problem for the Southampton defenders. And McCatchy gives chase. And he's chipped the goalkeeper with a header. And McCatchy takes the worship of the Evertonians. And that goal was down to his pure persistence. There seemed to be nothing on at all. Terrible back header from the Southampton defender. A slip as well. And now McCatchy chanced his luck. And he hit the jackpot. McCatchy. Done well here, McCatchy. Nicks one back in. It's just beyond Kanchelskis. Chance here though, and a goal for Everton. They score through Parkinson. And Everton in front. Joe Parkinson's first goal of this season. And it's the Everton fans who can celebrate. Beautifully set up by Daniel McCatchy. It was beyond Kanchelskis, not beyond Parkinson. It's a side foot, perfectly placed inside Immel's left upright. As I do think if Everton get a second, there's no way back for Manchester City. But Kanchelskis, now he's got the chance to show his paces, and he takes them on again here. And they're in real trouble, backpedaling against Kanchelskis, and straight against the legs. McCatchy turns in the area, scores! 2-0 Everton. Daniel McCatchy. After Kanchelskis did the hard work, it's McCatchy who has the Everton fans saluting again, and surely now victory is within grasp. Kanchelskis running at the three defenders, but McCatchy turning the defender, tucks it away in there. It's 2-0 Everton, and McCatchy's second in 2 games.
Grant has nicked in here, great goal for Everton. The promise of Tony Grant, Grantona.
All the hype surrounding the visit of Manchester United and Andrei's first match against his old club was marred when he collided with Lee Sharp and ended up with a dislocated shoulder.
Scholes. Hoping to do rather better than Mark Hughes was able to do in the cup final against Dave Watson. Beckham's cross, and the opening score. Bruce. Lindstedt coming in from behind him, and Limpar makes it one apiece. Unsworth only to Cole. Gets it back when he shouldn't have, and Sharp scores his second of the match and puts United in front for the second time. Empire will have to get round Steve Bruce. Michael happy, you can see. Oh, was he? Yes! Poor ride out. Everton reacting the quicker after the ball came back off the crossbar. Well seized by Beckham, Giggs to the right.
Everton's return to the European stage took them to the far from salubrious outpost of Reykjavik, the capital of Iceland. But it brought back warm memories for Joe Royle, who scored twice there 25 years earlier.
Flick on, away goes Amakachi again. He's looking in mean mood tonight. He's inside the area, trying to keep his feet. Falls to Hinchcliffe. Hebron! And Everton get that European goal they've been waiting a decade for. It wasn't the tidiest, in fact it was very untidy. Amakachi the danger man, Hinchcliffe squaring, and Ebro finishing off. Everton send the big men forward for this Ablett throw. Flick on towards Amakachi. Took a good save from Finn Bogason. The goalkeeper's spotted something upfield. That's a good early kick. It's 2-on-2. Benediktsson looking for Gunnjonsson. And the referee says that's a penalty. He's punished David Unsworth. Well, it was a tackle from behind. It appeared he went for the ball, but the referee points to the spot. And Bibicic punishes Everton with an equaliser. Hinchcliffe goes around the defender. This is a good determined run into the area. And he takes to the floor, and the referee sees fit to give him a penalty. The Reykjavik team are incensed by the referee's decision. There was certainly contact made, but it appeared to be negligible. And here's a chance for David Unsworth to score from the penalty spot. He does, and that makes up for the penalty that he was judged to have given away at the other end. Free kick given to Reykjavik, taken quickly. Very keen to counter-attack. It falls to Bibicic. Now Benediktsson. And the referee has given another penalty. Well, Roger Philippe, the Luxembourg referee, has given a hat-trick of penalties. And that one looked as controversial as the other two. Bibicic scores, and it's 2-2. Throw the height forward. Flick on. Amakachi turns. Oh, a lovely goal. That was a goal befitting the competition. I suppose you have to say it was a typical Daniel Amakachi goal. He doesn't score simple ones, they're all spectacular.
We made hard work of it, as we seem to do all year in cup competitions against sides below us. We'd certainly made hard work of it, but we did win. Of course, the hospitality was spectacular as always, and we had a good time there. They certainly made us very welcome.
Such is the competition for places at the back, Craig Short had to wait until the game against Nottingham Forest to make his debut.
Lee using it back for Little, but slightly to his weaker side. Stone. Bart Williams to bend it in. Lee! Ross saved by Southall. Still in play. Off Watson, over the line. Forrest have forced the goal here. Wone accomplished on the left. Roy lets it run on the call from Stone. Lee, can he reach it? He can. Jason Lee, 2-0.
Well, that's a goal of the highest quality, from start to finish.
given away the corner. Forest hope it doesn't mean giving away a goal. But it does. Paul Rideout.
Well, there it is. I said it was crazy. And they've really paid dearly for a bad decision from Steve Chettle.
Stone. Ian Wone lines it up. And Forest lead by 2 clear goals again. Ian Wone.
The thing that Joe Royal will be seething about is conceding 2 minutes after clawing their way back into the game. Since the one goal, they've looked fairly comfortable at the back, Forest.
Grant. Oh, he's got past Phillips. And they've got another one back. It's Paul Rideout again.
Kiss of death from me. They've looked comfortable all right until Tony Grant just skipped past David Phillips. Real good wing play. No, it's not. Real good wing play.
I think that we had a very disjointed start to the season, bearing in mind Duncan's injuries and then a shadow hanging over him. And then, of course, when we did eventually get Andre in, he was waiting round an awful long time to play. Then he played and got injured. We couldn't play him in European games. So all in all, it was a very, very messy start to the season.
West Ham team being urged on by their fans. They're playing this typical short, sharp football. Breaker, the overlapping fullback. That's a good cross. And the referee's given a penalty. Greg Short can't believe it. And he's not entirely clear why the referee has pointed to the spot. Tony Cottee was pointing to Craig Short's hand. Somebody else was saying he was pulling. Neither looked like a grave offence. Dix just beats Neville Southall. And West Ham take the lead somewhat fortuitously. Now Grant stealing the ball. Players to his left, players to his right. Which way does he go? This is Samways. Oh, yes! Picks his spot beautifully. Vinny Samways greets the fans. That's the end where the Everton fans were congregated. A lesser man could have passed on responsibility, but he chose the spot just inside the post and it paid off. Cottee right in the thick of things. Now Bishop, now Lazaridis, who goes down. And Earl Barrett is said to have given away a penalty. 2 controversial penalty decisions in the first half by Mr. Durkin. Now Julian Dix, will he make it 2 out of 2? He does. Same spot, same result.
Daniel Amakachi's injury and the return with Reykjavik was a sickening blow. He was left poleaxed and seriously concussed. The Nigerian was immediately rushed to hospital, but the quickness of his recovery even surprised the medical staff, who were even more surprised by Daniel's taste in medicine, which he'll explain shortly.
Well, that's beautifully played, and there's a real chance here for Danielson. They've scored.
Well, I don't believe football. I'll tell you, that's the beauty of this game. Look at the joy. Look at the joy.
Barrett. It's a useful ball. Right out. Guided down for Stewart. Goal. Deflected in. Everton get a break. They'll feel a bit better now. Ebel from the veteran for his opposite number, Gudjonsson. Grant has nicked in here. Great goal for Everton. The promise of Tony Grant. Grantana, they like to call him in the dressing room. Ebel. No offside. Paul Rideout away for Everton. Not much support in the centre, so he checks for his own benefits. Well, it's fair reward for Rideout, and it's 3-1, just as it was 10 years ago against Bayern Munich.
The game I always remember is against the Icelanders, where I got knocked out, you know. So
you remember that one, do you?
There's no way I'm gonna forget about that one.
How much of it do you remember? How much is obliterated?
So as I've been saying, I didn't know, how it happened. Just saw it on the tape, I went out cold, and I found myself in the hospital. Woke up and I was asking for Chinese because I was starving,
Paul, and a thrilling save by Neville Southall.
Newcastle, of course, had a great start to last season. They led the table up until November, but while they were almost unbeatable at home, where Leeds were the only team to beat them, it was really away from home where their problems mounted. They lost 9 in total. Here comes Ferdinand. 1-0! Right out of the blue, Les Ferdinand completes his century of goals in English football. Stunning finish. Watson. Here's Ginola. David Ginola. Penalty given against Unsworth. And the Newcastle captain, Robert Lee, in the absence of Peter Beardsley, is the man with the responsibility for the penalty. And it's 2-0 to Newcastle United. Ferdinand. Gillespie. Here's Barton. And it's in! What an introduction for Paul Kitson. And the flag has stayed down and Limpar's through. Can he make his afternoon better? Yes! But only just.
Joe's proclamation that the team wasn't yet strong enough to challenge for the title looked entirely realistic. Only 7 points from 8 games. Next came the most deflating experience of the season.
Right out into Stewart. And there are 2 men up here, Limpar, and down he goes, penalty given. A lunge by Van Blurk, and Anders Limpar wins the penalty for Everton. It was such a stupid penalty to concede as well. He was going absolutely nowhere. Van Blurk does not complain, but Andy Hinchcliffe can win the tie now for Everton. This is Everton's chance, and Andy Hinchcliffe deposits the ball in the bottom corner. Everton are on their way. Right out, a lovely flick through here. Stewart can finish it, and Stewart scores the second for Everton. Beautifully taken by Graham Stewart. Over it comes. Here's Uwe Fuchs. And the chance is still here for Taylor, and a goal. His first ever. And Millwall get a goal back. And Neville Southall stood rooted to the spot. And they believe they're back in this game. But Millwall are prone to leave gaps, but through the middle goes Taylor again. He's got to hold off Barrett. He's done well, the substitute again there. And down he goes, and a penalty given for the challenge by Earl Barrett. And it's tit for tat here. Penalty at one end, penalty at the other. Earl Barrett can't believe it. Mr. Reid strong his opinion, he did not hesitate. Alex Ray will take Millwall's penalty. And remember, it will make it 2-2. And away goals can be so critical in this competition. Ray, 2-2 it is! And how the tie has been turned on its head. They've come right back. They've just got to hold on now. Kerry Dixon takes it away into the corner. One to aim at. That's the youngster Taylor. And Taylor, a rasping goal! And that's going to be good enough, maybe, to carry Millwall through. Taylor onto Savage, one-on-one here. Savage might really round off Millwall's night. It's 4-2. Millwall are in the third round of the Coca-Cola Cup. Everton are out.
Macanespi to Schneekers. It's a good deep cross, a testing cross. And Patalainen! just finds the corner of the net. His first goal in the Premiership. Andy Hinchcliffe corner, that spells danger. Flicked on by Jackson. Oh, wonderful goal from Paul Rideout. Spectacular stuff in the dying minutes. He's toiled and troubled all afternoon, and a far from bread and butter goal. Must go down as one of the goals of the season, especially from an Everton player. That was wonderful.
Having disposed of the perennial first-round fall guys Reykjavik, Feyenoord of Holland represented a much tougher examination of Everton's credentials in Europe. Coached by the legendary Ari Hahn and captained by that shoot-on-sight specialist Ronald Koeman, Feyenoord held out in a game of very few chances, the best of which fell to Vinnie Samways. Right, back on the domestic front.
Good, solid header. It's been a bright start from Everton. Andrei Kanchelskis back to full fitness, back in the full swing of things. Gets it to his feet again. Great cross, great goal from Graham Stewart. The first man he thanked is Andrei Kanchelskis. You don't get a better cross than that. Beautiful one-touch cross from the Russian international. Ball played back by Samways, knew exactly where he was going to place it, and the rest was up to Graham Stewart. Long ball from Wilson. Here's Armstrong. Oh, he's done Neville Southall.
Here's Draper. Two in the middle. Right jaw.
Andrei Kanchelskis has scored his first goal for Everton. And he scored it against Liverpool at the Cup end.
Everton's return to Rotterdam, where they won the Cup Winners' Cup in '85, was decided by a disputed goal. Offside? Well, certainly one Feyenoord attacker was, possibly two. Abiko should have scored, and it looked as if Everton had got away with it until John Ebrell pressed the self-destruct button and Reggie Blinker fired in the goal. Feyenoord deserves something from the first half, and the same could be said for Everton after the break. Paul Rideout's trickery, but unable to hit the target. De Huey in goal for Holland in the World Cup, and the tallest keeper in Dutch football made three saves similar to this one from Graham Stewart. Well, now the sending off, Ronald Koeman and Craig Short had a verbal altercation shortly beforehand. The blue touch paper had been lit. That was a leg breaker by Koeman. And that was foolish by Short, and it just about summed up Everton's night.
But they'll certainly remember the 5th of November with affection. The visit of Blackburn and a distinct change in fortune.
Limpar looking for Kanchelskis. Everton on the move. Stewart wants the ball rolled back to him. It's come to Graham Stewart. Everton have scored a crucial first goal halfway through the first half.
Well, I've said an awful lot of the success will depend on the two wide men. Kanchelskis is threatened. He loves that area when teams push up. And didn't Anders Limpar provide him with a super ball? He's got time to push well up. And it's a great ball dropped over the back of Kenner. He does quite well here, and Everton get a little lucky. But Stewart tucks it in beautifully. Cross the goalkeeper into the far corner. But this is the move that's been threatening. The diagonal ball to Kanchelskis' pace. And they get a little bit of luck when they need it. And Graham Stewart tucks it in really nicely.
I think that we had to beat Blackburn. We had to sort of show people, it was on television, that last year's promise wasn't false promise, that we could get ourselves going again. And we won the game, and we won it very well. To say it was only 1-0, but we won the game very well. And that sets us off on a great run, really.
The players were in full agreement that the game of the season was at Anfield. The day Andrei Kanchelskis enriched the derby match with his electrifying pace and devastating accuracy.
Jackson. Stewart. Limpar just inside of him. Kanchelskis wide to the right. Graham Stewart. Curled it. Oh, hit the post! David James is a lucky lad. Kanchelskis. Rideout. Kanchelskis! Yes! Andrei Kanchelskis Kanchelskis has scored his first goal for Everton. And he scored it against Liverpool at the Kop end. I should think that's pretty much the way he dreamt it last night. Kanchelskis is supposed to provide the crosses for Rideout, but it was the other way around, and both of them performed their task superbly. Terrific centre, and a really well-timed header by Andrei Kanchelskis. Ebrel. Limpar. Got Stewart and Kanchelskis ahead of him. Andrei Kanchelskis. Oh, 2-0! It's Andrei's day. Everton lead by 2-0, and Kanchelskis has got them both. Some derby debut. Limpar played him in. And the shot from Kanchelskis just carried too much power for David James to keep it out. Thundered it through James. Scales. Came off the head of Short. McManaman trying to get there, and did, away by Short as far as Fowler, and that's found a way through. And this isn't quite over yet. Robbie Fowler reviving Liverpool hopes with 90 seconds remaining on the watch. Wright getting it forward. Short getting it away. Stewart trying to lay claim to it. On by Rideout. Kanchelskis. Stewart. He's onside here. Stopped by James. Liverpool's hopes are hanging by a thread, but they are still hanging. No, they're not. It's over. Blue is the colour of Merseyside tonight. Everton's first success at Anfield for 8 years, spearheaded by 2 goals from Andrei Kanchelskis.
The derby's always a big one, especially at Anfield, where we won there. That always sticks with you, yeah.
And your team performance is the derby.
Yes, yeah, the derby out away at Anfield, yeah, that was tremendous. That was, I think I know they were going through a bad time, but we weren't having the best of times really. When we just started, that was probably the start of our run. So yeah, the Liverpool game at Anfield.
Of course, when we beat Liverpool away 2-0, we didn't even hardly touch the ball the first half. They outplayed us really well. They scored a goal which was offside, and then second half we outplayed them and we won 2-1.
Team performance of the year. Great win at Anfield, great win with 10 men against Leeds. Blackburn over the 90 minutes. I suppose it's got to be Anfield. Who am I trying to kid?
Everton approach. That's Limpar's cross there. Stewart! Oh, lovely goal! Fantastic pass from Anders Limpar, seeking Stewart, who darted through the Queen's Park Rangers defence, and he finished like a good one. Again, it's the Everton midfield cutting things out. Right out inside Maddox. Oh, and he's beaten Sommer.
But Everton's top scorer from the previous season was in the wars against Sheffield Wednesday. The type of facial injury which required extensive surgery and which normally puts a player out for months. Rideout, though, was back in 4 weeks, as you'll see later.
This is Briscoe's cross. Right! Oh dear me! Back again, opening style of his. There's Bright again! That Everton nearly signed has put Sheffield Wednesday 2 up. Ball over the top by Watson, and catching. It's caused problems since he came on. Flick on. Kanchelskis steadies himself. Great finish. Andrei Kanchelskis has brought Everton back into the game. Amakachi giving chase again. Flick on. Kanchelskis has the pace. Has Amakachi got the finish? Oh, he has! A little bit of luck fell Daniel Amakachi's way.
So from relegation territory to mid-table respectability and showing the sort of form that just might enable them to compete in Europe next season.
Cross from Limpar, they're short! Craig Short scores his first goal for Everton.
Kanchelskis. Campbell goes with him. And Campbell makes a dreadful error. And Amakachi hits the crossbar. And Walker makes the save. Well, that was bizarre.
The return of Duncan Ferguson, much to the fans' delight. He'd done his time and now it was back to business. After a goal-scoring warm-up in the reserves against Newcastle, he got a couple. His first Premiership outing came against West Ham. He also spoke exclusively to This Is Everton.
Obviously, I've been through a difficult time, and the fans have really lifted me. I mean, I've got a lot to prove to them. I've hardly played in the last year. They haven't seen Duncan Ferguson playing on a regular basis. I mean, I've never had a 20-run game in the team. And once I get maybe 20 games under my belt in the trot, that's when they'll see the best of me.
Hinchcliffe's corner, and a goal by Ferguson! Duncan Ferguson in front here! It's his first goal for Everton!
The fans have taken to me probably one of the reasons because I'm Scottish. You know, I mean, there's been a few Scottish legends at the club, especially wearing the number 9 shirt, and they have taken to me. But I've just got to try and repay them in some way, and hopefully I can do that in the football field.
Hinchcliffe's corner. Ferguson's there! And Everton are in front! And the big man has a big reputation which is growing by the week.
Do you want to finish your career with Everton?
Hopefully, if everything goes all right, I'll be here. So that's up to the manager. If he's happy with the way I'm playing, I'm happy to stay here. I'll not be asking for any transfer or moving. I'm quite happy to see my career out here if everything goes well for me.
Jackson. Amakachi. Jackson does well, finds Amakachi. Pull back to Kanchelskis. Stewart tries the shot. McCloskey was left stranded, and Graham Stewart has put Everton ahead. Stewart. Kanchelskis has made the run. McCloskey holds him up, but can he stop Amakachi? He's seen him pull Amakachi down. He has done. It's a penalty for Everton. And what's he going to do about the goalkeeper? He's off. It's a red card. Professional foul by Ludek Miklosko, and West Ham United are in trouble because they haven't got a goalkeeper on the bench. Julian Dix is going to have to face David Unsworth of Everton, who will try and extend Everton's lead to 2-0, and he has done. Everton are 2-0 up. Ferguson waits predator-like inside the penalty area. Unsworth. Amakachi. Daniel Amakachi, a real test for Dix, and Everton follows up. Dix, the makeshift goalkeeper, couldn't hold it. Ebrel was the scavenger, and he extends Everton's lead to 3-0.
Referee got in the way, and Newcastle still have possession because of it. Ginola. If you can't go past defenders, go through them. Beardsley. Looking for Ferdinand, and they've not picked up the big striker. Ferdinand shot! Super goal.
A more ignominious defeat followed at Coventry, who took the lead when David Boost cashed in on some lackadaisical defending with a walloping header. Everton's response was one of the few occasions they looked sharp and fearsome in the loose. Joe Parkinson's shot wasn't dealt with as well as Steve Ogrizovic would have liked. Amakachi pounced and might have scored himself, but on his return to the Premier League, Paul Rideout wasn't taking anything for granted. But overall, this was a performance which fell way short of a royal seal of approval. There were a few home truths spoken in the away dressing room after a lack of hustle and bustle really gifted Coventry their winning goal. This isn't Everton. 6 players found themselves in tackling positions after a ball had been hoisted into fairly harmless territory, but not one materialised. Noel Whelan wriggled a bit and then beat the hopelessly exposed Southall.
Waiting for his target, he's found him now. Clearance by Middlesbrough. The best defence in the Premiership. It's going to take some cracking. The cross from Limpar. There's Short! Craig Short scores his first goal for Everton. Well, what a turn-up. There were very long odds on Short to score before the game. 40 to 1 you would have got. He fancied his chances against the best defence in the Premiership, and it's some goal. With the corner. Flick from Rideout. And there's Stewart! 2-0 to Everton. It came after an audacious little flick from Paul Rideout. Watson helped it on. Mayhem in the Middlesbrough defence. And Graham Stewart scores his 7th goal of the season. Powerful header directed into that danger area. Kanchelskis' cross, Walsh has come a long way and fluffed it. And it's 3-0. Graham Stewart's 2nd of the game. His 8th goal of the season. Kanchelskis deadly with the cross again. And Stewart deadly from 8 yards. Just chasing shadows at the moment. Tackles coming in thick and fast. Everton fancy a 4th. Kanchelskis is away. How he deserves one for this performance. And he scored. Just reward for a fantastic game for Andrei Kanchelskis. So often the provider, but quite deservedly grabbing his 4th goal of the season.
We beat a side that had a really good defensive record. We won 3-0, and a few people won a bit of money on me. A lot of my family won a few quid on me for getting, I think it was 50 to 1 that day. So, I never had a bet, but it was a good day all round. That was.
Right out with a nice little flick. Biting away again. It's the ball over the top. Weatherall! Oh, he's put it past his own goalkeeper. The most spectacular of own goals from David Weatherall. Barry Horn splaying the ball around. Worthington being brought on in the second half to try and stop the threat of Kanchelskis. He's been running riot, taking on 3 defenders. None of them can stop him. Oh, no stopping him now. Andrei Kanchelskis with a classic. He tiptoed through a series of challenges, looked for the yellow of the goalkeeper's jersey and put it in off the white of the goalpost. The goalkeeper stood no chance.
Everton bursting through. Oh!
fantastic! So it's Wimbledon to kick off. The team are always very, very difficult to beat on their home ground. The pundits are saying this is going to be quite a scrap. Away goes Duncan Ferguson, lured on by the travelling Evertonians. Goalkeeper fluffs it and Everton scored! Well, there can be only a matter of seconds gone, and Everton's first move of the game brings a goal. Sager's fluffed it, and there was John Everett, right on hand. And Chelsgis, right out. Jackson steadies himself, puts it back into the danger area. Oh, beautiful! Duncan Ferguson hasn't lost any of it. That is why Everton have waited so long for him to get back into that number 9 shirt. This boy is a bit special. With that goal, point proven. Just a quarter of the game gone. Everton tearing Wimbledon apart. Little dummy, and there's the third. Ferguson again. A little more straightforward than his first, but a thumping good finish. Sagers hardly saw it. It's like a foul throw, but the referee lets Finney Jones get away with it. Trouble for Southall. Holdsworth gets a consolation. Time running out and some very tired legs out there. Els flick. Akuku's in. Steadies himself and scores a second for Wimbledon, who never ever seem to lose that fighting quality.
It's good to get back in and scoring a couple of goals, especially the first ones away for Goodison. It's always nice to get that off your shoulders, like. But as I say, as we come back and score a couple of goals, it's good. It's good for the team. And we've got 3 points, was the biggest important thing.
It was the first time Duncan had played football for a long time with a clean book, you know, with nothing hanging over him, no injury problems at that stage, no worries about judicial appeals and so forth. And there he was for the first time in 4 years playing football instead of worrying about other things. And I think it showed.
Another 3 places up the ladder, a considerable way off the summit, but closing in on those UEFA Cup places. Well, one route to Wembley proved to be a cul-de-sac, but what about a return to the scene of that historic victory over Manchester United? A home draw with Stockport should have proved an elementary start, but that's not what the FA Cup's about, as we all know.
Massive kick from Neville. Southall has Stockport defenders in all kinds of trouble. There's Stewart! Well, that was the direct route to goal. Stockport County are a spirited side. This is Armstrong. Pound playing the ball in. Headed back in now. Great save by Southall. Armstrong! And the second division side are refusing to lie down. The goalkeeper, the shortest, has some problems with corners. He's dropped that. There's Ablett! Punishment for the wee goalkeepers. Uncertainty in the 6-yard box. Park. 50-50 ball. Chelsea is beaten in the air. Now at Beaumont for Stockport County. Finding space on that right wing. It's a good cross. There's Helliwell! Stockport County have equalised. And they're thinking about taking Everton back to Little Edgeley Park. Causing problems, but David Lee. Compromising that clears for Chelsea. That brings it down, but it's fallen to Spencer. Ready to pounce. He scored! John Spencer punishing Gary Ablett and finishing from the most acute of angles. Chelsea's showing the Chelsea defence a trick or two. Right out, showing them his strength. Looking for support. Desperate to get it into the 6-yard box. There's Stewart! Good save by the goalkeeper. Park. Chelsea clear, but too convincing in defence. They're trying to be a bit too casual. Limpard's on there. Has to be a penalty. They surround the referee, but I don't think there's ever any doubt that Anders Limpar hit the ground that the referee was going to point to the spot. The full-back got in a real tangle with himself and hauled Limpar down. So it's Unsworth, and he rarely misses from the spot. Everton are back in it, 1-1.
Goal scorer for Everton, David Unsworth.
It's been an excellent game. Chelsea's defenders have made it all the more interesting. They've given the ball to Stewart. How he'd love to score against his old club. Oh dear, he was dreaming about that one last night.
And Flynn will produce another one of those long throws. Eckhart flicks it on. It's under the crossbar. It's in. Well, Hellywell's claiming it. Kanchelski's in very quickly. Oh, he's put it over. When they have looked like the door was finally open, they've missed. Oh, it's in! Ferguson gets the equaliser from the corner. And finally, the height of Duncan Ferguson brings Everton its reward. Edwards starts to come. Well, his fingertips were just about on the ball, but Ferguson towered over the top of him. Barry Horn. Here's Ebro. Horn. Kanchelskis. Good shot. No, it's loose. It's two. Graham Stewart. And Everton have scored twice in the matter of minutes. And without wishing to appear anything other than totally impartial, your heart goes out to Stockport. Here's Armstrong. Armstrong. Yes! Oh, what timing! It's 2-2 again. Ebril bursting through. Oh, Ebril! Fantastic! What a blow to the heart for Stockport, right from the kick-off. Ebril just ran right through the middle of them. They were still thinking, I'm sure, about the equaliser and the prospect of extra time. And a team are never more vulnerable than when they've just scored. And they stood still. They backed off him, nobody got in a tackle. What a goal by John Ebril. And what a turnaround in this match.
Well, John's not normally a headline maker. The engine room boys rarely are. But he's become an integral part of the midfield, having had to convince both the manager and the fans. Local boy comes good, as did the team at Highbury after a predictable start.
Right. Great turn from Ian Wright. Brilliantly done. Still Wright. Oh, that's magnificent. Ian Wright. It's 10 goals in 6 games against Everton, and he does it again with a real beauty. This is John Ebrell. Lenigan. Seaman with the clearance. And as far as Dave Watson. Now there's no offside here. Graham Stewart for Everton. Stewart will score, and it's 1-1. Poor clearance. Watson headed back. There was no offside. And Graham Stewart levels things up. 1-1. 8 minutes to go. Oh, good effort goal! And Andrei Kanchelskis has stolen a goal for Everton. Out of nothing. Well, Kanchelskis looked up and Seaman palmed it in as Everton take the lead.
Arsenal away was a good game. To go there and win 2-1 was, was a great result for us because we hadn't really had a good record down there in the last few years. So I enjoyed that, yeah.
Graham Stewart. Watson underneath. Well won. Oh, good save. Amakachi. Everton are relieved to take the lead. It was a fine save, one-handed from Musselwhite from the initial header. But as the ball drops, Amakachi was first to it. Watson won it. Quite a lot of power in the header. And really before the keeper could get back to his feet, Amakachi was onto it. Guppy. Just clipped the back of Naylor. Foyle! Yes! At last! John Rudge wants everybody back to defend. Let's not surrender what we have. And that's a 1-1 draw at the moment. Limpar. Oh, he's dropped it! Ferguson puts it in. And, well, your heart goes out to the goalkeeper, Paul Musselwhite. He just looked a tiny bit casual. He wasn't under pressure from Ferguson, but he never had the ball in his grasp. At full stretch, dropped it right to the feet of Ferguson. Going to take something really heroic from Port Vale now to get themselves back in this. They just haven't got any leeway. There's only time for an attack or two. But maybe Guppy can deliver the perfect cross. Here's Bogey. So it was deflected. Oh, Bogey! It's 2-2.
Defender can't deal with Kanchelskis, and there's Ferguson. Second time lucky. We're hoping for a more lively second half than the first. Southampton straight onto the attack. This is Mark Walters. Now Watson is onside. Oh, and it's crept in. Parkinson. Limpar. Oh, lovely shimmy. Leaves one, leaves two. They can't catch him. Threads the ball through. Kanchelskis. And it's in. I don't know who's going to claim it, but Everton have equalised. Beautiful skill. Wonderful pass from Limpar. Kanchelskis' shots. Took a deflection. Is it an own goal? Is it Stewart's? It's 1-1. Barry Horn determined to do well at the club he used to play for. He wants the ball back as well and gets it. Oh, glorious goal for Barry Horn. That will mean so much to him. Scored on his debut for Everton, scored that famous goal against Wimbledon, and now scored on his return to the Down. Time running out for Southampton. The fans getting on their backs a little bit. They're throwing everything forward. There's Magilton. Oh,
beautiful goal. A wonderful equaliser for Jim Magilton.
The Southampton goal, first of all, always nice to score against an old club, isn't it?
Yeah, it's actually the first time I've been back to any of my old clubs.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've always been suspended or injured going back to Southampton. Portsmouth have never been in the same division, and neither have Wrexham, so it's the first chance I've had, really. So yeah, it was nice.
Gary Hall digging away in midfield. Pumping these crosses in, testing the Manchester City defence. Ferguson's header, and there's the goal! Joe Parkinson, of all people. Well, he scored against Manchester City earlier in the season. It's his lucky opposition. Ferguson nodded it back. And Joe Parkinson celebrates a goal. Barry Horn going through. Is that handball? Barry Horn thinks so, and so does the referee. Mass protest from the Manchester City defence. As the ball went through, you can see the defender undoubtedly handled it. So it's going to be Andy Hinchcliffe to score that dream goal against the club he left for Everton. The trusty left foot never seems to fail.
Goal scorer for Everton, Andy Hinchcliffe.
Here's Guppy. Tankard. Andy Hill. Craig Short's come out to pressurise him. Bogey. Oh, good footwork by Bogey. Good strike. Oh, Bogey's done it again. And you could see then why at St James's Park they once hailed him as a new Gaza. That was a lovely bit of football to jink his way through the defence. And McCatchy's little touch. Oh, a lot of room here for Graham Stewart. Where are the two fullbacks? It's there! Everton have equalised! It's 1-1, and it's Everton's turn to equalise in a cup tie against Port Vale. Stewart's 13th of the season. It's lucky 13 for Graham Stewart. It's lucky 13 for Everton. There were just the two central defenders, and there was a deflection, and Port Vale were caught with defenders forward, having had that corner themselves only a few seconds earlier. McCarthy! Oh, yes! It's 2-1 Port Vale!
Everton had an inexperienced team out for the trip to Old Trafford and the eventual champions Manchester United. Tony Grant recently returned from a loan spell with Swindon. John O'Connor, a natural centre-half, given the awesome task of marking Ryan Giggs, and Michael Branch, who's made scoring in the reserves look like a piece of cake. Other homegrown players, David Unsworth and John Ebrell, illustrating just how much the club are benefiting from its youth academy.
Cantona to Keane! And Roy Keane scores for Manchester United! Sharp, nowhere to go. Giggs in a very dangerous area. Cantona to Cole. Now he has the pace. Has he got the cool head? Everton come back. Here's Giggs. He can finish it off, and he does.
What was your one abiding memory of the match?
Ryan Giggs kept going past me.
You caught him eventually. You caught him pretty early on, didn't you?
Well, yeah, I got a few tackles in, yeah.
I suppose after you've made your debut marking somebody like him, the rest has got to be easy the rest of your career, hasn't it?
Well, that's it, yeah. I mean, the couple of weeks after that, it was sort of Ian Warne, Brian Roy, and they weren't quite as difficult as Giggs, so, and they're world-class players as well.
Andy Hinchcliffe going in very strongly with the challenge. Stewart winning the ball to Ferguson, to Stewart. They do work so well together. John Ebrell spraying a 40-yarder. And Chelskis, look at the defenders panicking. Four of them can't stop him. Oh, great goal! Andrej Kanchelskis seemed to draw all of the red-shirted defenders towards him then. He beat them, and he beat the man in the yellow top as well. A world-class player with a world-class goal. Hinchcliffe, as always, with the corner kick. There's Watson! 2-0! Oh, Dave Watson's relief was his first goal in something like 40 matches. I think last time he scored was the quarter-final of the Cup last season. Not for the want of trying. 2-0. So back defensive duty. Game lofted over the top. Forest defence is square. And Chelskis obviously has the pace to get there. Puts in a good cross. Ferguson! Up in the air and off the line. Yet another let-off for Nottingham Forest. Chelskis. O'Connor. Defender can't deal with Kanchelskis, and there's Ferguson! Second time lucky. Well, it was on the cards. Kanchelskis cross, Ferguson header, easy peasy, 3-0.
Well, the first half wasn't much of an issue, but after the break, Andre tore into Forest and left manager Frank Clark bewildered. It was also goal number 1 of the season for Dave Watson.
You haven't scored that many goals this year. You normally come in with at least half a dozen. There's only been the one against Forest, is that right?
Yeah, just one goal. I've had a few chances, but I don't know. I haven't finished them off this year. I mean, the previous seasons I've put my chances away, but you know I've made 1 or 2. But I'd like to have scored more. Yeah.
Limpard's cross, and there's the equaliser from Graham Stewart.
Hinchcliffe. O'Connor, quick cross, and it was a good one. Tipped onto the bar. I think the goalkeeper got it, but on the rebound, Everton take the lead, and Tony Grant is the scorer. All credit then to the young fullback, who made a long run down the right-hand side, hit the instant cross, and a good cross it was too. The header turned onto the bar, I think, by Walsh. Grant following up. And that's 1-0. Kanchelskis quickly released by Stewart. He's dangerous here. Is that a penalty? Yes, it is. Kanchelskis has the pace to get away from defenders. Fleming after him. Arrived too late. Fox also there, but I think it was Fleming's challenge that sent him off balance. Hinchcliffe puts it away. His 3rd goal of the season.
Because it was refreshing going to Swindon Town, wasn't it? It helps pep you up.
It brings a lot of confidence out in it. Because down there, you seem to be up in this at Everton. There's a lot of players they're all good players. At Swindon, you can be a bit of the boss really, and it gave me a bit more confidence for when I came back really.
So, what did you notice in yourself when you come back?
I was just more confident in myself there. Just doing things that I know I can do, but just more confident.
We feel that Tony Grant is almost there now. He's actually arrived. All that lovely ability that we've known about for ages is bearing fruit. Dave Unsworth, after a shady start to the season, has got better as the season's gone on. Of course, he's our own. Michael Branch, John O'Connor have shown their faces. There are others waiting for their chance. And it's nice to say now that there's young blues coming through instead of just players that we buy.
But when in need. 7 weeks after signing from Newcastle, Mark Hottiger's work permit was reissued. 7 weeks of bureaucratic nonsense for the regular Swiss international fullback.
Number 19, Mark Hottiger.
Hottiger's debut came against Coventry.
Stewart. Close cross. Ferguson! Well, he arrives on time so perfectly. Great cross from Hinchcliffe, goes without saying. And the perfect header from Ferguson goes without saying. Backs it forward. Ferguson wins the header, so does Stewart. Ferguson keeps going. Great pace from Ferguson! And a lovely, dinky little finish. Well, the goal was simple in its conception. Nodded on by Stewart. And did Ferguson show some pace or what? Left the defenders. And then a neat little touch, 2-0. With less than a quarter of the game gone. And Duncan Ferguson's 7th goal in 10 games. Marco's corner, there's a header, oh, and it's a goal! New signing Liam Day scores for Coventry. Gordon Strachan on the field, the 39-year-old, trying to add some impetus to this Coventry attack. It's Larco's cross, and there's Williams! A cruel blow for Everton, but maybe one which Coventry deserve.
Radaby has made his way up and collects the throw in front of Horn. It's the South African again. Brolin, the Swede. And a goal! A shot from Brian Dean! Brolin gets no sympathy from the referee. Clearly that Short got the ball cleanly enough. Kanchelskis. There's still a danger when you force him inside. Hinchcliffe. Limpar. Limpar's cross. And there's the equaliser from Graham Stewart.
Well, you have to see it's been on the cards. The last 10-15 minutes. And this time, well, they do pick out a final ball. Good interplay, Kanchelskis and Limpar. That's a lovely ball from Limpar. Pass and move. He drops it off again. And Graham Stewart, the man you talked about, well, that's a fine header. Showing that you don't have to be 6'3" in Duncan Ferguson to get in between players. And that's the important thing he does there. He gets in between 2 6-foot+ defenders. And a very firm header into the corner.
And Tinkler makes a very sensitive burst forward. And Dean! And Leeds get back in front through Brian Dean again, right on the stroke of half-time. Corner for Everton. Looking to get level for a second time with Kanchelskis. They are level. It fizzed in with a flick along the way, and this time the break is with Everton. And it's 2-2.
Well, John Ebron may well have been in an offside position when he hits Andrei Kanchelskis, but he gets some power in it. And the deflection's there. Well, he might not be, but I don't think he can be disallowed goals for that kind of thing now. He hits it so well, but it's the deflection that's the crucial thing here. I think John Lukic is probably going to save that. But just like the first half, when the deflection took it past Neville Southall, the deflection takes it past John Lukic.
Looks to be Vinnie Jones to float the ball in. Oh, and Gale has scored for Wimbledon! Committee on this one. There's no Vinnie Jones, but there is a Hinchcliffe and Limpar who plays it in. And Short's equalised. A quarter of the game gone, and it's 1-1. Couch has had an excellent game, buzzing around everywhere. It's still buzzing. Can he sting the Dons? Good cross! And Kanchelskis with a rare header! The up-and-atom approach of Wimbledon, a sly push which the linesman obviously didn't see. It's not a bad cross at all. Clark. Castledine! And Goodison Park is shocked by Stuart Castledine's goal. Everton were cruising this as just 4 minutes to go. Southall doesn't quite make the punch. It's Clark! Oh, and he's squeezed it in! Goodison Park is stunned! The whistles, I don't know where they're coming from. It should be one of the last attacks of the game. Determined play by the substitute Clark. And Goodman has stolen it! 4-2!
2 minutes into his debut for Blackburn Rovers, Gary Flitcroft's flailing elbow knocked Tony Grant for 6. Flitcroft was shown the red card, and what followed was a demolition job.
I'm surprised that it's going to be Hinchcliffe to take the corner. Amakachi drills that one home with a purpose. A combination of Hinchcliffe and Ferguson, lethal. Amakachi, the man to benefit from it. Defensive play by Everton. Amakachi having a field day against a weakened Blackburn side. The legs beginning to tie now. Away goes Kanchelskis, he has the pace, the angle's tight. How on earth did he score from that angle? Well, it appeared that he was heading out of play, but somehow the man's supreme balance allowed him to keep his feet and to stun Tim Flowers.
Scorer for Everton, Andrei Kanchelskis.
Everton may be 2 up, but it has been one of the best defensive performances of the season as well. No danger at all. Away goes Kanchelskis. Again, he's got the pace. And again, he's got the finish. Well, once he's got the correct side of the defence from his point of view, hardly anybody ever stops him. And another double from Andrei Kanchelskis, who's bringing Joe Royal's team a fantastic goals return.
Thoughts of Europe were turning to club talk and paper talk. A lot would depend on who won the League and FA Cup, with Aston Villa having already qualified in the UEFA Cup.
Oh, Kanchelskis must score. Everton get a goal that's been threatening.
Akachi. Hinchcliffe hoists the ball, hopefully. Headed down by Ferguson. Hottinger! The Swiss international scores his first goal for the Blues. Drills it in. It's the power of Ferguson in the air, a cheeky back heel from him as well. And Hottinger saw the space and found it beautifully. Everton should be running this game. But the Cardiff team are always under the chance. They refuse to give up the fight. They've got the offside trap on. Kanchelskis is away. He only has Wall to beat. A lovely Russian sidestep. The footwork of the Bolshoi ballet. Fans would love to see one more surge. We're almost into stoppage time. Away goes Amakachi. Oh, that was an excellent individual goal, which caps a good team performance and an outstanding personal performance from the Nigerian.
So it was up to 6th, desperately close to European qualification. A good run was required, although time was beginning to run out. But for a poor start, there'd be no problems.
Hinchcliffe taking that rugby union style stance to the place kick. Actually, everybody up for Everton. I could leave them a bit short at the back. It's the pace of Sinclair. He's taking on the whole of the team. He has one man in support. This is Gallen. He's free. And he's scored! Holloway. Confidence running through the Queen's Park Rangers team. Haitley's made it 2. Just before half-time, an important time to score. Plays it long. This is Gallen. Good control under pressure. Oh, unfortunate for Unsworth, it's Sinclair away, he has support. And it's finished off by Impey. 12 minutes to go. Neville Southall clearly hasn't given up the chase. He's 15 yards out of his area. That's not a bad ball either. Ferguson. Eberl. Nice goal. The question is, has it come too late?
There was more than just local pride at stake in this Mersey derby. Following that defeat at QPR, a place in the UEFA Cup had by now become a real possibility.
Ferguson went to ground. Eberl. James has missed it. Oh, Kanchelskis must score. Everton get a goal that's been threatening all sorts of chaos in the Liverpool penalty area, and Andrei Kanchelskis is the Derby Day man again.
It stems from the fact they don't deal with the long ball. Ferguson's the one that causes the problems. Scales doesn't clear the header, but I have to say, full marks to John Eberl. He never believed the ball was dead. He never believed he wasn't going to catch this. He just kept going and got rewarded with that little bit of good fortune and Kanchelskis' determination. But this was all to do with Ferguson just making them miss the ball and Eberl's determination not to give it up.
Well, it's a real tingle to the finish here, and that's a neutral speaking. Being fought to the very last kick between Everton and Liverpool. Collymore. Fowler! Never write off foes in red. Robbie Fowler has equalised. Stan Collymore created it. 3 minutes to go.
Tony Grant. Chelskis goes on one of those looping runs. That's a lovely little pass as well. Stewart. And McCatchy. Now anything could happen. He caught Pressman completely by surprise. Mistake of Reggie Blinker. Reiser. Hurst. Oh, he's brought Sheffield Wednesday back into it. He's getting ready for the cricket season as well, by the looks of that celebration. So, what an opening 10 minutes to this game. Hardly time to breathe. And McCatchy again. Kanchelskis. Eberl! Oh, within seconds of the restart, Everton are back ahead. Grant. Adventurous pass, but a beautiful pass. Kanchelskis. The man's on fire at the moment.
In 21 minutes.
Grant again, he's really having quite an effect in the centre of midfield. Kanchelskis is seeing the whites of the goalkeeper's eyes. He's a one-man demolition team, Andrei Kanchelskis. Flicked on, De Gruyter. Those rhino charges by David Unsworth. Kanchelskis a bit far out. He's going to have a try for his hat-trick. Oh, and he scored his hat-trick. Outrageous finishing.
So who's the Players' Player of the Year? Obviously Andre was top contender following his second half of the season blitz, but Graham Stewart was also in the frame because of his excellence earlier on.
I think this year, Graham Stewart's come on great, and he's got some vital goals for us, which it always helps. And for me, I think Graham would just pip it.
Obviously Andre's got to be up there. Graham Stewart, Dave Watson, I suppose those three really. I suppose Andre's hit the headlines the last part of the season, but I think Graham Stewart's been very, very consistent from the start, so it's going to be very tight between those two, I suppose.
I would say I'd have to give it to Graham Stewart because he's put in a lot of good performances. He's nearly top scorer, not quite. and you know, he's worked so hard for the team. So I would say Graham Stewart with, you know, Andre Kanchelskis running a close second.
Well, it'd have been Andre. Well, I'll still give it to Andre, really. You know, he's not been here all season. You know, he's not played all the season, I should say. But what he's done really well.
A few contenders this year, actually, I would say. Graham Stewart's had certainly his best year for the club, without any shadow of a doubt. Dave Watson was, without standing out too often, was very, very consistent again. John Ebbels had some great performances. But purely from a place to watch and a place to play with point of view, I think the last 15-20 games, I think Andrew's been magnificent.
What's it like to be the most popular player amongst the players here at Everton?
I didn't know I was. They won't tell you that for sure. It's all right. The lads have been different class ever since I've come to the club. I've enjoyed my 3 years here, and you know, I've got another 3 on my contract. So you know, I'm hoping it's going to be a great time.
If you look at Graham Stewart and Joe Parkinson's improvement, if you look at a renaissance, if you like, for John Ebrell, Big Duncan, Andre, it would be hard to name just one player. It would honestly be hard to name one player. I think Andy Hinchcliffe is finishing the season in his best form. If I had to tilt for one, probably John Ebrell's done something which is very, very hard to do in football, and that's win fans over. And if I've got to give it to anyone, maybe John, and also for being so honest about his dress sense.
The Everton players take the plaudits from the fans. So much progress has been made in 12 months, so much promise for the future. Good play between Limpar and Kanchelskis. Limpar pointing to where he wants to place the ball. Parkinson! Well, he put the power behind that one, and it somehow found its way through. I think he enjoyed scoring that. The approach play of Limpar set it up really, not quite what he intended. I think it took a bit of a bobble, but Parkinson put it where he meant it to go.
So a winning finale and a lap of honour, only to find out later on that a late goal by Dennis Bergkamp had denied them a place in Europe after all. Finishing sixth was a good achievement considering the dodgy start, Duncan's trials and tribulations and a catalogue of injuries. Duncan sort of summed it all up when he said the best is yet to come. But we do leave the last word to Joe.
It's been consolidation, really. You know, it's been building on last year. It's been a transitional period for the club. You know, there's been a big turnaround, and in 18 months I feel that things are now going in the right direction. I've said many times at the start of last season I didn't think that we were ready to go for the championship. I'll tell you after pre-season next year, but I certainly think that we're much better equipped to challenge now, and I think that it's about time this club went forward again and chased the big honours.